it's most concerned to, of course, everybody is involved on this. I'm sure I guess like everybody. It's not just me. It's not just confidence, but everybody, and it's not just female gender. Even the male gender should be inclusive on this one. So it's a very interesting topic. And I guess joined us in the studio. She's no other person than Lois.
Good evening. Good evening. I'm fine, thank you. What do you want to say?
You know what I want to say.
What do you want to say?
How is Nigeria economy treating you? But seeing the way you but seeing the way you are looking, it seems you are the one treating the economy.
Yes, so, that's why sometimes I just used to say, thank God that we don't look what we're going through, because really, it's not as easy as it used to be, especially with the fuel and everything going on. But we're grateful. We're coping with stress and we're coping with all of the things that comes with it. Thank God for God's grace. Right. Yes, so we're there all right, last.
Welcome.
Thank you.
You really don't look like it. All right, like I said earlier, we're discussing a very important topic. Now you've met our guests, then you should come to your mind at least because you know how to be an advocate of something. Yeah. All right, let's take you through what we'll be looking at today. Female genital mutilation. Well, it's been said it's a practice that unfortunately still occurs in some parts of Africa. Now, while the prevalence of FGM varies across countries in Africa, it is estimated that over 200 million women and girls worldwide have undergone the procedure. It is also estimated that this year, nearly 4.4 million girls will be at risk of the harmful practice. And this equates to more than 12,000 cases every day. Well, that's the statistics for you there. Today, as we mark the International Day for Zero Tolerance for Female Genital Mutilation, with the team Her Verse, Her Future, investing in survival-led movements to end female genital mutilations, we'll be looking at ways at which we can eradicate the practice. And we'll be doing this with our guest, Lois Tofumi.
Amele, yes. Good evening. I'm the Executive Director, Good Tides Philippine Missions Foundation, and a member of the Global Media Campaign to End FGM.
Wow. Yeah. Welcome.
Thank you.
It's good to have you join us.
Thank you. Always glad to be here.
Yeah. Well, it's International Day Zero Tolerance of Female Genital Mutilation. And you saw or listened to the statistics. I'm sure you agree with the percentage and everything. But I would like to know, do you think Nigeria, I know you said Africa, and when I tried to Google countries that still practice female genital mutilation, I saw some African countries, but do you think Nigeria still have some likely traits of FGM in the system?
Yes, I would say that maybe where you got your findings from, they didn't really mention Nigeria, because most times when they write, especially from the UNFPA website, you see that they will say over 200 million women in over 29 to 30 countries are living with the consequences of female genital mutilation. 10% of that 200 million is 20 million. So 20 million women are living with the consequences of female genital mutilation in Nigeria. That's like the statistics that we're given, from the UNFPA website. So we can see that a lot of people, and you just from what you said, you say 4.4 million people at risk from now to 2030, and we're planning on ending FGM before 2030. So it's a long, it looks like it cannot be achieved because of this number, because of the millions and all of that. But I'm glad that there's days when we can do this sensitization, and I'm also excited about what Captain TV have been doing, because even on days when there is no international day, you still call us, to advocate, to talk about these things. Because I feel like in Nigeria, it's only when somebody die or when something happens big, that's when people now start running up and down. Hey, this thing don't kill person. See what happened to Fasan Hassan Ahmed when she peeled off the place where she was caught. She was caught, and after some days she peeled it off, and then she gushed out blood, and that was how she died. It's when we hear about cases of death or something like that, you say, hey, this thing killed that person. Okay, me I no go do no. Everybody starts saying no, I no go do this kind of thing. But when it's time for us to advocate, and when it's time for you to listen, and we can join hands together to end this thing, people would not talk about it till it becomes something drastic, or till it becomes something that everybody is now running helter-skelter. See the way we treated what's the name, COVID-19,
Yeah.
when he came into Nigeria. If that's the same way we can, you know, go ahead and treat female genital mutilation, I want to believe that would not, even before 2030, would not be hearing about female genital mutilation again. And this female genital mutilation we're talking about is not something that started now. It's something that started thousands of years ago. Okay, so these are the things that, you know, people started doing. It started from the Egyptian mummies and then moved into different countries, and, you know, here countries in Nigeria that are also doing these things.
So that means it's originated from Egypt. Is that what you said?
Yes, it originated from Egypt. Wow. From the research that I made, it originated from Egypt.
Okay, just give us a breakdown of what this female genital mutilation is, because it's kind of a big grammar for some people.
Yes.
In simple terms, what is female genital mutilation?
Okay, for some people they call it female circumcision, but I would not call it female circumcision, because female, if you call it female circumcision, it feels like it's okay. But the mutilation there is the word. It's a gruesome violation of a girl's rights. So you don't call it circumcision. We can say male circumcision because it does a lot of importance to the male, you know, gender. It reduces penile cancer and does a lot of things to also help them. Okay, but for the females, it does not have health benefit at all. So that's the reason why we say it's female. It's just like you amputate a person. Just like you amputate a person, that is when you say this is female genital mutilation. It's just like you are cutting the person's arm or a part of the person's body. We call it mutilation. Just like you say amputation, so we call it mutilation, because you're actually mutilating her and you're depriving her of her human rights.
Alright, this is the viewers. In case you want to be part of this program, just know that our telephone lines are open for you to call in, and you can call us via the number that will be displayed on your screen, because this is a topic that affects everyone. Most people have gone through this surgery, or not surgery, but say the procedure, and they don't even know, right? They've gone through it, perhaps. So I'm sure you'll be enlightened with Lois here, whatever she gets to give us. So you made mention of the fact that it's prevalent even in Nigeria, in Africa as a whole. But I would like to know, why do you think, despite it being a very harmful practice, why do you think people still practice it? But before you answer that question, let's quickly take the short break, and when we return, Engender continues. Stay with us.
Let's be fast with our chores. It's almost time for Engendered. Girls, it's time for your favorite program, Engendered. Yeah, Mommy, we're coming right away. Sophia, turn off the gas. What are your fears as a woman? And what are your doubts as a lady? You think you're alone with those thoughts? Then welcome to Engendered, where we'll bring you discuss, interviews, previews, experiences, opinions, and issues relating to the female gender. This is Engendered.
My name is Sheila BCFR, the Black Comedian of the Federal Republic. I tell you, when it comes to the best of entertainment, the best of news, the best of information, something that is educative, you're right here at the best place to see that. It's Captain TV. You know what? Increase the volume. Keep watching. Don't touch the dial, okay?
It's your girl Nkechi Blessing Sunday. I want you all to keep watching Captain TV.
Please keep watching Captain TV. It is the best TV station in the country. They're doing an amazing job. Please do not touch the dial. Keep watching. Thank you.
My name is Sheila BCFR, the Black Comedian of the Federal Republic. I tell you, when it comes to the best of entertainment, the best of news, the best of information, something that is educative, you're right here at the best place to see that. It's Captain TV. You know what? Increase the volume. Keep watching. Don't touch the dial, okay?
It's your girl Nkechi Blessing Sunday. I want you all to keep watching Captain TV.
Please keep watching Captain TV. It is the best TV station in the country. They're doing an amazing job. Please do not touch the dial. keep watching. Thank you.
My name is Sheila BCFR, the Black Comedian of the Federal Republic. I tell you, when it comes to the best of entertainment, the best of news, the best of information, something that is educative, you're right here at the best place to see that. It's Captain TV. You know what? Increase the volume. Keep watching. Don't touch the dial, okay?
It's your girl Nkechi Blessing Sunday. I want you all to keep watching Captain TV.
Please keep watching Captain TV. It is the best civil station in the country. They're doing an amazing job. Please do not touch the dial. Keep watching. Thank you.
My name is Sheila BCFR, the Black Comedian of the Federal Republic. I tell you, when it comes to the best of entertainment, the best of news, the best of information, something that is educative, you're right here at the best place to see that. It's Captain TV. You know what? Increase the volume. Keep watching. Don't touch the dial, okay?
It's your girl Nkechi Blessing Sunday. I want you all to keep watching Captain TV.
Please keep watching Captain TV. It is the best civil station in the country. They're doing an amazing job. Please do not touch the dial. Keep watching. Thank you.
My name is Sheila BCFR, the Black Comedian of the Federal Republic. I tell you, when it comes to the best of entertainment, the best of news, the best of information, something that is educative, you're right here at the best place to see that. It's Captain TV. You know what? Increase the volume. Keep watching. Don't touch the dial, okay?
It's your girl Nkechi Blessing Sunday. I want you all to keep watching.
In a world where information is
Welcome back, esteemed viewers. If you just joined us, this is the Engendered show on Captain TV, reaching you live from the nation's capital. Before the break, we were discussing a very vital topic that, pertains to female gender. And the topic says zero tolerance for female genital mutilation, underscoring ways to end this practice. All right, Lois.
Yeah.
This practice is very, very harmful.
Yeah.
Yes, it is detrimental to the female gender's health. But why do people still practice it?
Okay, there are a series of reasons why people practice female genital mutilation. When you want to ask, now everybody will say, na cultural something now. But it ranges, there are different cultures with different ways they do their own, with different perspective behind why they do what they do. So now, for some culture in Nasarawa state here, they said if the head of the baby touches the clitoris, the baby will die. But that's not the reason for maternal mortality rate. There are still other reasons, because there are people that they have their clitoris intact and their baby still dies. So I think they really need to check what is going on, with women in those communities. Then some other culture believe that the clitoris will grow and become the male's penile shaft. So some people believe that. Some people believe that if your clitoris is still intact, you begin to smell. And then just a lot of cultural reasons. Then some other reasons that it's just like when you begin menstruation, they're ushering you into womanhood. So that's for cultural reasons. Then we also have religious reasons that talks about, though there are doctrines, we know that there are doctrines, there is no imam or pastor that talks about the fact that female genital mutilation is in the Bible and it should be done. No pastor or imam has talked about that. But then, people just develop doctrines and they begin to do this thing. They'll say Abraham law, they'll say Moses law, and some other Islamic reasons why they do female genital mutilation. But I want to tell you that they are just doctrines. If anybody has told you that it is in the Bible, then you must be caught, because they'll say in Abraham law there was no specification. They did not specify that, okay, it is for the male gender, so they just do it for every other person. Like I said, I met someone and she said her father was a pastor, and that's the reason why that act actually happened to her. So we're saying that whether your father is a pastor or whatever you think the law is, I've actually interacted with pastors and some of these traditional people, and there's like there is no, some people will say since it's not in the Bible, there are some theologies. That's because you've not gone through some of these theologies, but most of those pastors that have gone through, because I interacted with scholars, people that have gone through some of these things, they said no, there's nothing like that. So there's really nothing like that. They're just doctrines. And then there's economical reasons, because some of these practitioners use that to make money. So when you ask them to stop, they tell you this is the job that their parents have handed it over to them. Because as female genital mutilation is transgenerational, that's how, the court is also transgenerational. The practitioners also hand it over to their children from generation to generation. So yes, so they use it to make money. And then for some people, they say you cannot inherit your father's property if you were not caught. And you know that in those days, they used to say that if the male is the person that brings money to the family. So they will say that if you don't marry, who will now provide for you and all of that, and you must be caught before you get married. And the reason for this court for some people is that it gives satisfaction majorly to the male, not for you, because your clitoris is already cut off. So there is no urge, there is no enjoyment.
I think I've heard people say it's a way of taming the lady's sexual drive.
Yes.
So that
promiscuity, yes. That's also a reason too. Yes, so they do that. But looking at what you just mentioned now, the promiscuity, we can see that I think somebody came and told me. Somebody met me and was like, I see this lady, she was caught. And because she was caught, she was not having sexual, she was not having the urge and everything. So she was now wondering that, so why am I not having the urge? So she, in the quest to get the urge, she became a sex worker. So the opposite is what is happening. So you are saying that you are cutting the girl so that she would not, have multiple sexual partners, or even, all of that, and then at the end of the day she becomes a sex worker. So you can see that it's a myth, and it's something that we really need to look into and make sure that we end in our community and society.
Okay, so let's look at the theme for this year 2024.
Her voice, her future.
Yes. Most times, okay, now based on what I've seen, to use perhaps what they said to address as a way of awareness. Do you often get, you've been in the field, do you often get people talking about this? Because I know most times the reason why we even suffer insecurity in the country, first of all, because we lack intelligence, because people do not want to talk about things. I remember speaking to someone the other day, and I said, come to my program, let's talk about this. They say, no, I don't want to die yet. Okay, so people really do not want to talk, and we see people going through a lot of pain, molestations, violations, the likes, and abuse. They still do not want to talk about it. So do you get people talking about FGM?
That's why we are here to create this awareness, to make people understand that it's time to really break the silence. Why will you be suffering in silence? So in different communities, you get to see that they begin to discriminate you because of the fact that you're speaking up, towards ending sexual and gender-based violence, or towards ending this particular act, this female genital mutilation. But I feel like it's time to actually speak up on some of these things. And I feel like it's because of the fear. That's what make mothers that have gone to female genital mutilation to do it to their children. Because I've read it, and I've heard from people when they say that, oh, we actually went through this, so it was painful. We know how it was for us, but if we don't do it to our children, people in the community will say, this one will say, why are you looking into what people will say instead of looking at the life of your daughter? What if in the process of going through female genital mutilation, the child goes into shock and the child dies? At the end of the day, the person that will say has her own child, they are eating together, they are sleeping together, they are happy in their own family, while you have lost your own child. So I feel like it's time to actually speak up. If you've heard anything, that pertains to female genital mutilation or sexual and gender-based violence, I feel like that is what this show is created for. It is engendered. It's a place to talk about women issues, and you can speak out. By so doing, you may just help somebody out there. But if you're not ready, it's okay, because some people will be like, I'm not ready to speak and all of that. But just to emphasize on the fact that it is important that you say what is on your mind. You don't know, maybe with this, what you have gone through, you may just talk about somebody's particular situation in their family, and by so doing you have helped somebody. I was saying it somewhere that female genital mutilation causes divorce, and somebody was like, divorce, and I'm like, yes, people don't look into the root causes. They just say, hey, divorce is too much in this country, let us stop divorce, let the divorce rate reduce. But then the root cause is female genital mutilation. I was also look at female genital mutilation. The woman does not have this one even happened to somebody that is a friend of my friend. So my friend came and met me and was like, I know that you advocate to end female genital mutilation. I know that you do these things. Okay, so see what happened to my friend. And I said, okay, what happened? She said she was caught, and because she was caught, her husband, she doesn't like, she doesn't like anything that pertains to sex and all of those things, sexual intercourse. She doesn't like anything that pertains to it. So the husband is like, so you don't like sex, so what does he do? He takes it out. So he takes it out and he started doing it outside. The woman started shouting that, so now you're still picking women, and because of that they are going to divorce. So it causes divorce because the woman is not interested in sex, but the man also has urges, and he has to satisfy his urges as well. And because of the female genital mutilation, you have cut out the organ that helps her to enjoy enjoy sex. So because of that, divorce rate happened. And I really want to applaud men that their wives are being caught and they understand with her. Because there are people like that. There was a day I was on radio and I was talking, and a man called anonymously, and he said that this thing happened to my wife, but we found a way around it, we find a way to enjoy ourselves. I told her that she should not be limited in her mind because of the organ that has been cut. But there's a way we can go about it. There's a way we can both enjoy each other. So there are mental health solutions to these things, and your partner can actually help you in this particular issue. So that's why I say it's not about the women alone. We need the men to come in, and it's not a woman issue. Anytime you hear engendered, all the men will run away. Say, no, now women show, now women something. It's not a woman issue. Anything that affects the woman will definitely come around to affect you as a man. Exactly. So either directly or indirectly. So we need men to even form, allies, with us, so that we can end up jam together.
So apart from this divorce, issue that's seen as one of the effects of female genital mutilation, are there other effects of this, dangerous practice? Shed light on
yes. There are different effects, consequences of female genital mutilation. We have the immediate consequences and we have the long-term consequences. The immediate consequences are that time when female genital mutilation is done, the pain you feel, the injury, the urine retention, because you will not be able to urinate because of the tissues, the wound around, the genitalia, shock, and some people even die. Because of at that particular time. That's like the short-term consequence. Then we have the long-term consequence that involves psychological effects, low self-esteem. You are reliving what had happened to you, PTSD, depression, and all of those things happen. Then we also have menstrual problems. We have parturition problems. We can see that I think maternal mortality rate is 550 per 1,000 live births. Looking at the statistics. So it's actually a serious issue, and it's something we need to. That's why I was talking about the root cause. I was saying that if we begin to address the root causes of some of these things, then we know what the problem is. Because when we now stop cutting girls, you now get to see that, okay, life expectancy, sexual and reproductive health and everything is okay. Okay, looking at the types of female genital mutilation, just to explain my point, we have the first one, which is clitoridectomy. That's like the total or partial cut of the clitoris, just the clitoris. Then we have excision. Is the total or partial cut of the clitoris and the labia minora. Then we have infibulation. Is when you sew down the vaginal orifice. Some people cut out the clitoris, some people do not. And this one depends on the expertise of the person that's actually doing it. If the person does not know how to do it, the person seals up everything, just leaves a small place for urination. When it's time to menstruate, the bleeding will not come out. It will now be retained inside the uterus and now be affecting the women. You can see that some of these women, they are now old, and you now hear them saying that, they're moving from hospital to hospital, trying to treat female genital mutilation that they spent maybe 10,000 naira to do or 20,000 naira to do. They now spend like up to 1 million just to treat it, because you now see cases like of keloids, cysts growing in those places where they cut. So the type 4 is when they use razor, when they use different type of thin herbs, they insert it. When you prick, there are just different types. For some women, they will pour hot water. There was somebody that told me, she's late now, of blessed memory. She told me that they did it to her daughter, I think her first daughter. A Yoruba woman came to the house and because she was too tired. I think she just gave birth at the time. So the woman now said that, let me help you to bath your baby, because all these baby and all those people, they will invite them, because they say if you want to, they will turn the hand, they know how to do all those things. So they invited her, that let her come and bath the baby for her. And when she came, Then the woman came and started, dragging, pinching the clitoris and trying to remove it. That's the type 4 we're talking about. Pinching the tip of the clitoris and trying to remove it, and then pouring hot water on it. She didn't know, so she came out and she saw what the woman was doing to her baby, and she was like, why is this baby screaming more than normal today? So when she saw what the woman was doing, and they said, no, the woman was telling her, this one is small now. In those days we come out everything. And the woman was like, no, don't do that to my child. So things like that. So there are different type of female genital mutilation, and with different consequences. Even the infibulation, that's the type 3. When you sew down the vaginal orifice, when it's time for the woman to give birth, they go for another procedure that is called the de-infibulation. So they open up that the woman, some people do it before marriage, some people do it when they're about to give birth and everything. And for some people, they do it before they're about to give birth, because the husband or the male, the husband, let me just say the husband, wants it tight, so they leave it, and the woman goes through intense pain during sexual intercourse. And that's the reason why some of those women do not like to do, they don't like to have sex during that period, because of the pain. No matter how long, it has taken to cut the lady. Maybe they cut her when she was 13 years. Even while she's 30 years, there are still some, things. There was a woman that was having miscarriages and did not know that it was female genital mutilation that caused it. There are different, everybody has different ways that it affects them, as women. So we're saying that, this thing should actually end. Yeah.
Okay, do you think enough awareness is being done, perhaps to bring people into light or into know that this thing exists? Because until now, that recent time that perhaps they've been able to give it a name, people would perhaps do it and not even know, like you said, they could do it because of different reasons, but they didn't know the hazard, they didn't know the repercussions at the end of the day if they do it. So do you think enough awareness is being done currently to actually tame or eradicate the FGM?
I would commend each and every one of us, because, and let me use this opportunity to commend each and every one of you that saw my flyer and saw my posters and shared. So one thing I did before the International Day for Female Genital Mutilation, or for Zero Tolerance to Female Genital Mutilation, and even before 16 Days of Activism, before there's any campaign, I would call people, make flyers, send them out, and I'm glad that some people actually shared it. Before, people don't want to talk about this because of the stigmatization. They don't want to say, how will a man like me be talking about female genital mutilation? So that's the reason why I'm proud for those. There's this group on Twitter, Men End FGM. So there are men that are actually doing these things, and they are not ashamed. So and that is the reason why we can see that female genital mutilation has actually reduced, because it has over time, and it's because of the awareness, the campaign. A lot of people have, whether you're advocating for female genital mutilation or menstrual hygiene or whatever it is, once it's that time, everybody comes and they're like, okay, let's advocate to end female genital mutilation. And that is what has really helped us. Okay, because it was last week or so I shared flyers, and today when I went on the internet, I saw a lot of people have reposted and sharing. The people I did not share the flyers, so I saw the flyers going, and I'm like, oh, okay, I like what you guys are doing, because it's actually helping. The thing is, the person sitting close to you, you don't know if the person is thinking about cutting their girl. The person that is I was at ID because I do my outreach before the day, because I know that I may have media around. So I was talking to somebody at Piwawasa on Friday, because I was at Piwawasa IDP on Friday to create awareness, and the lady said she heard about it from radio, from TV like this, that FGM is bad. And I was so impressed, because now people can use radio, TV, even social media. That's why I was employing each and every one of us, that it's not the responsibility of Les Amele. I'm just a human being like you. Each and every one of us, we have our own. Kaftan TV is doing their own, they are putting in their own effort to make sure they end FGM. You can do your own. You don't need a big platform. You can just do what? Post it on your status. You don't know. Now we're looking at 4.4 million girls that are risk from now to 2030. You can imagine you just saying something about it on your WhatsApp status. You can imagine you just say something on your Instagram page, or you have a large. Today I've had lots of media rounds, and I'm happy about it. I can be I feel tired, but I'm happy about it. I did podcasts, TVs and radios and all of that, and this is because we want to end female genital mutilation. We don't want to hear about it and be like, that year, the thing used to happen, but thank God we're okay now. That's what we want to be hearing. Because now look at the fact that female genital mutilation is evolving into medicalization of FGM, where we have some doctors and nurses actually doing these things. So we're saying that, okay, they're saying that it causes pain, the pain that it causes, the sterile tools that they don't usually use in the traditional, whatever, the doctors will use sterile tools, they will use all of this. But the long-term effect that you think has gone is still there. You have coped the short-term effect and say, oh, okay, we have used sterile tools and all of that. Maybe that's what they are saying, that people will bleed to death. Now we're doing it in the hospital where doctors and nurses can actually help me. But the long-term effect that involves, other maternal complication and other things, psychological effect, how do you cope that? And we say the situation and the consequence varies according to human being, because now it depends on the expertise of people that are actually doing these things. Some people don't know how to do it. Some people just do it anyhow, because some of them don't even know what it is. But we know that there are some medical people that know that, oh, this thing we used to do it before, we used to do it in our tradition and all of that, so it's okay for them to do it. And somebody was saying, I didn't read by myself, somebody was saying that WHO actually said that any doctor or nurse that is caught doing it, their license will be seized, because it's part of their oath. They signed an oath, to save lives, and not to cause harm. So
okay, so just a follow-up question. I know from your instances you've given as to creating awareness, you've spoken a lot, and if I listen correctly, they were just basically about what individuals can do, what NGOs can do, what the media can do. However, do you think the government have a role to play, and what policies or perhaps idea currently that is helping to tame? Because we are not where we want to be, but we are far from where we used to be, right? So do you think there are policies, there are laws that's helped to eradicate or brought it to the level at which we are now, and perhaps would help continue to eradicate FGM?
So in Nigeria, I don't like waiting on the government for anything. I don't even like placing anything on the government, because I feel like before it will happen, before they stand up to do something, I'm really saying this, and I'm saying it with full confidence and boldness. Come and meet me. Before something happens, maybe something drastic would have happened. Maybe somebody would have died, or something drastic would have happened before you now see somebody standing up to say, oh, let's not do this, or let's not do that.
Or maybe it happened to a celebrity.
Or maybe it happened to a celebrity, or it happened to a family member of somebody in the top office, and it's a problem. But then I would say that they signed in the VAP Act and the Child Rights Act, the Mopito protocol and all of that is there, and what is remaining now is implementation. But I would say that the implementation will not come like that if we don't put some small strategies here and there. Gender decks in police station, those are the nearest places where people can come and report. Those are the places where people even report a lot of issues. So if we have gender decks as different police stations, that okay, this is the gender deck at this particular police station, the person will attend to rape, sexual and gender-based violence, domestic violence, harmful traditional practices, female genital mutilation, breast ironing, child betrothal, childbirth, child marriages, and all of those things. The police, that particular gender deck is. But when you bring people that don't even know so much about this thing, when they say female genital, you say, hey, now what thing you can do? Okay, more na small matter. Right statement, and at the end of the day, one person just pays one small and say, oh yeah, sorry, they go have, that kind of thing. Nobody has been punished. Nobody has served as scapegoats. So because of that, everybody will just keep doing what they want to do. Our team in my organization, Good Times Philippine Missions Foundation, is no hiding place. UN has their own team. We have our own team that we work with every year. So as we're going to those communities, we're going to those places, we say no hiding place. We're giving gatekeepers work, chiefs, women leaders, we're giving them work. We're telling them, if you see this kind of thing for your environment, I beg, report. Now my number be this. We give them maybe flyers or something, cards. Now my number be this. Call us. If you hear this kind of thing, call us. So we're saying no hiding place. For if you go behind closed doors, you'll be caught. If you go anywhere, you'll be caught. And once you are caught, we will not take it lightly. We will not take you to maybe somewhere that they will just treat the matter with levity. We're going to take you to places where we are going to, get a lawyer. We have a lawyer. We get a lawyer. We follow the due protocol, because now we're creating awareness. I used to understand that in communities, you don't just go and say, when they do this thing, make una stop, because there are people that do not know the harmful effects. And that's the reason why we are creating awareness. Because some people don't know that it's actually wrong. They think they're actually helping the girl child because of the rape and some of the issues that are happening in different communities. So they're like, okay, let's just cope our girl child, let's do this to help them. So that's what they are thinking. So because of them, that's the reason why we're actually creating awareness. We're educating people, because they say education is power. Once you are educated, you have an instrument in your hand and you're supposed to use it to do whatever you want to do. Now you're educated that female genital mutilation is wrong. Once you are now caught doing it, then it's a problem. And I would want to say that it is very important. Sorry that I'm digressing into a lot of things. As it's coming into my mind, I just want to just say it out. It's important that in our churches, in the mosque, we need to involve. We need to start talking about these things there. Let's not just make it look spiritual, as it may look. Why would we talk about genitalia for inside church? How are we going to talk about this thing for inside church? Like in my church, TTC, we have jewels. That's a woman's group where they have WhatsApp group and all of these things.
Every church has that.
That's what I'm saying. Every church should have that, where they have all of these things and they can actually create awareness through this method. Even in churches, let's not spiritualize it and say, she's a Christian, she's supposed to know. Let's not assume that they are supposed to know. And let's not assume. There was a day we were on radio, we were talking on radio, and somebody called and said, if they said, they don't use traditional, may they go hospital, may they go do. So you can imagine that kind of person. The person is not informed. But if somebody says that in the mosque, or somebody says something like that in the church, then we can, because now we're looking at communities alone. We're going to communities, we're talking to people in the communities, but our churches are still there. We have different places where we can create awareness. So we're just saying that let's not just relegate it to school outreaches that are very accessible, community outreaches that are very accessible. We can also do something in our churches. Simple places, market, streets. That Okada man that dropped you, you can just tell him something. We have flyers that we give out. You can get flyers from us. We'll give you. You can just give it out to people. That is your own bit in creating awareness.
There are interventions and response to fight against this harmful practice from the United Nations and also from different NGO, that is non-governmental organization. But then you will agree with me that there are factors that affect this from happening. What are these factors?
A lot of pushbacks from people in different communities. A lot of people that don't want this particular practice to end because they are the genders that are enjoying it. Let me not mention the gender. Because they are the genders that are enjoying it, so they don't want the practice to end. So pushbacks from different communities. And then when you go to some countries, they don't even know what you want to talk about. They say, these people, they want you to come and share money, they want you to do something. And that's why some of these, some just upcoming, should I call them upcoming or growing NGOs, they don't want to go into these places to create awareness. And looking into it, somebody told me that the statistics in the urban areas increased compared to the one in the rural area. I don't know how true that is. But yes, somebody was telling me today that she saw some percentage. I don't know what she said.
In terms of practice or elimination?
In terms of practice of FGM, that people in the urban area are actually doing it more than. And I heard a story of somebody coming from the US to do it in Nigeria.
Oh, wow.
Because they know that in the US, doctors will not want to do it, and you can be caught, and in the US, implementation is one thing that they take seriously. So we get to see those pushbacks, and then sometimes challenges like financial challenge in doing a little thing here and there, and even sometimes coming to media houses like that, they say you have to pay some money and all of that. That's for those people that are just starting and people don't really know that is what they do. So those are some of the things that can affect people creating awareness. But it's still. But I just, like I said earlier, you don't need a mega platform to campaign. You can just do your little bit. Everybody has an Android phone or whatever, you can just post something to create awareness, you know. And I feel like we should also join in strengthening policies, you know, concerning female genital mutilation. There's a VAP Act that talks about it to end. So you can do Instagram Live with a law person, somebody that is in, you know, that is a lawyer, a barrister. Let the person talk about the harmful, talk about what happens if you are caught. You know, you can do something like that. So strengthening policies and all of that can also, you know, joining, you know, to strengthen policy. Those things can also help to reduce.
Okay, I'd love to ask what role does education has to perhaps eliminate it. For instance, like you said, you gave an instance of someone outside the country coming to Nigeria. Actually, anyone who has gone outside the country should have some level of exposure and perhaps education. But you see people who are sometimes wondered at the fact that people who are educated tend to think in some certain ways. So what role does education, because they say we are educating, we are being educated, yes, and we are becoming literate even more and more every day. So, but then we still do some things that ought not to be so. So, what does education actually play a role, and what role does it play?
We know that Ekiti State has the highest numbers of professors. How do we say that thing? But Ekiti State was, I don't know whether it's still, you know, the second highest state with female genital mutilation in Nigeria, but it used to be at some point, at some time, because I did my research, and I think they used to have like 46% thereabouts, you know, and they have professors, they are educated people in Ekiti State. So, you know, looking at that, that's why sometimes when you look at these things, cultural beliefs stick so deep into people that you think that it's in their blood. It's so difficult to eradicate because it's a cultural thing. You know, somebody even asked me, that where were you when they were circumcising everybody? Is it that your parents are not learned enough that they are supposed to circumcise you? You know, somebody was saying that, oh, are you lazy? You cannot take the pain. You know, somebody was,
you are lazy.
Yes, you cannot take the pain. You know, so people just have their perception about these things. So it has nothing to do with education. You can see someone that is fully educated, but not educated in this field, educated in another field. And because the person is educated in another field, the person does not have knowledge about what FGM is. So they say, since they did it to my mother, it is safe for them to do it to my child. So you just permit that, okay, you know, let this be done to my child. So education does not stop it. But I'm excited about the fact that it's in the curriculum. I saw female genital mutilation in a provocational textbook.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes, the provocational now is Agric and PhD. So, you know, I think we told economics or so, I can't remember.
Social studies or something.
No, that one is religious and national values.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's provocational. So I saw it in, maybe it's in social studies too.
I guess you should be.
But I saw it in a PhD textbook, provocational textbook. They were talking about female gender. They did not expatiate on it, but I'm glad that I saw something like that in the curriculum, and it made me excited to, you know, making the kids know that this thing actually happens and it's something that should be eradicated.
Okay, so I'd like you to share perhaps some story, because most times people just hear. I remember the first time I heard female genital mutilation, perhaps then in school, I didn't know there was something like that. Okay, neither would I even know. Perhaps maybe it's been practiced. We're just saying like, oh, it's a normal thing, and it's just like those people that come from Mugo, beat your children or press your tummy. Just like it's normal thing for everything that happens when we give birth, and they don't have a name tied to it. Let's say it just happens. Sometimes you see your mom say, "This thing, don't do it because this thing will happen." You're like, why would it happen? Okay, but they just say it will just happen. But that's just the way culture goes. So I want to ask, do you think perhaps maybe some explanations as to why? Of course, you've elaborated on why we should stop the female genital mutilation. However, for those people who do not understand it, who perhaps they are blinded, you might say that some men enjoy it. You refuse to mention that I said it. Like some men kind of benefit, but they did not know that that's what would have happened to the girl at the point. But they just know that this lady, perhaps she didn't live that kind of life or something. So do you think in a way, let's say the male gender now has role to play in terms of eliminating female genital mutilation?
Yes.
And should there be, like, from the very scratch, like a knowledge? Do you think that there's the level to go in terms of exposing it? Like, let's have it open to people as to this is it and this what not to be, something like that?
Yes. As we're talking, I want to believe that a lot of people, you'll be thinking in your mind, have I heard about this thing before? I think I've heard about it in so and so community and all of that. Maybe conversations are even growing up in your parlor as you're sitting down there. Like, we've heard this thing. I know this and that and that. So there are different, stories and situations at which this particular thing happened, and we said it that it's to impress the other gender, and that's the gender we're talking about now. And that's why I said it earlier, that men need to form allies with us. Some men don't even think about it. They don't even want to, what is this? Some men, when they hear it, they're angry that they say they are even doing it to satisfy them. They're angry because why should you go through that particular thing? Just like you said, I should cut my hand because I want to satisfy somebody. So men do not like these things, and I want to say that it's important that men, when you go for your football this thing, when they finish the football and everybody wants to go, just say, excuse me, I have something to say, and just go in front and say, please, I want to talk about female genital mutilation. Our girls are suffering, our women are suffering, and I know that it will take confidence and boldness, but it's important that you do it. After they just finished the AFCON, like what did they? That's just raise your hand and say, please, my organs that are here, I want to say something, and just talk about it, because it's not just female genital mutilation now. There are a lot of harmful traditional, and you see this harmful traditional practice, but they're the one that people don't even talk about. You hear rape, people will loud it. You hear domestic violence, you hear intimate partner violence, as we may call it, when husband and wife are, you hear all of those things. But when it comes to harmful traditional practices like breast cancer, all of these things, thank God for Ministry of Women Affairs that went to talk to people in the Astama community to sign an MOU and all of that, But then looking at it, a lot of people don't really talk about this. And so just raise your hand and say something, that it's time for us to support our girls. Can we support our girls? Do we want them to live a full and enjoyable life, full and healthy life? Having their sexual and reproductive health complete and making them happy. These are the things that we need to do. We need to eradicate female genital mutilation. You mentioned story. Let me give one story because it just came to mind. Okay. So there was this woman that she had in the hospital. They told her in the hospital that don't cut your girl because she was caught. I think it happened in Ibadan. I read it was from Instagram. The thing went viral at that time, but I don't know it went viral for some other people. But with that, FGM is something that we focus on. People tagged us with it, and the woman was told, because I think she herself was caught. So her mother-in-law was with them at the time, and then she now told her mother-in-law that they told us at the hospital that we should not cut our girls. And I want to applaud those doctors that create awareness, to end female genital mutilation in the hospital. It's really commendable of you. So they told her that she should not, because she came home. She said when her mother-in-law said that, when are we going to call this girl? Is it not 7 days or something? She now said, no, they told us in the hospital that there's no need, that it doesn't do anything, that there's no need to cut her, that the harmful effect is even much. The mother-in-law now said, okay, no problem. So there was a day she was busy. She wanted to do something. Her mother-in-law, let me carry this baby and stroke. That's how the girl was already even grown. I think she was like 2 or 3 years or so. So the mother-in-law took her out. So I don't know where the mother was. I think she was at home or something. So the mother-in-law now brought her. She was crying. The mother-in-law did not say what happened. She was like, she was even beating the girl that, what is making you to cry? Why are you crying too much today? So she wanted to back her. The girl increased and started shouting. She forced her and backed her, took her to where they were going to. When they came back, the girl was crying, running temperature. She was wondering that what happened. We've given you everything, giving you food, giving you everything, that normally because of this thing you stop crying. She now said, let me just pour water on this girl. So as she was bathing her, trying to wash her genitalias, she now noticed that they've cut the girl. They've cut the baby, and that was the reason why the baby was crying. She now started shouting. She shouted and said, why will you do this? Face her mother-in-law, because that was the only person that was with her daughter. Face the mother-in-law and was shouting at her. But they told us, and I told you that you should not do this to our girl and everything. She just kept on, talking to her mother-in-law. And then her husband came in and beat her up. That was why it even went viral, because of the wife up. Yes. So he came and beat the wife up. That, why will you shout on my mother? Why will you talk to my mother anyhow like that? That is how we have been doing it from time memorial. So it cannot, this type of thing cannot change now. And she started beating her up. It was even the beating that they now did a video that, look at what my husband did to me. That was what brought this. So they now asked her, what happened? Why will you do? That's when she now started the case from female genital mutilation. That people now understood that was what caused the issue. So we can see that
it happens.
We can see that the men supported it at that particular point. So we're saying that if the men can arise and say, no, we want to end female genital mutilation, the two genders come together, then we will not hear about it again.
Okay, so but then let's since you're giving the other part of it, you've been in the feed, have there been any success story in terms of people who said no to female genital mutilation, or communities who had stopped it in 2 minutes?
Yes, I read it in the news. There was this lady, there was a girl, she's actually a girl, she ran away from home, that she was not going to be caught, and I think it was UNFPA. I don't know who brought her in, and it was in the news that she ran away from home and all of that. And looking at it, my book is actually on that. I'm the author of the book Tolani Nirara. Tolani said no. It's a book focused on female genital mutilation. A brave girl that said she will not be caught. And one exceptional thing she did was that she educated her mom, and her mom was teachable. You know, there's some parents, African parents, that are not teachable. That when you even try to explain to them that no, they will tell you no. That's how we done the drama. That's how we go do. But her mom was teachable. Her mom listened to her, and because of that, during her birthday, people did not come for her birthday. They said stigmatization even in the church and all of these places. But she stood her ground that she would not be caught. At the end of the day, an NGO person came and did sensitization. Let me not finish the story, but go and pick up the book and read.
Well, it's been a wonderful time and session with you, Lois. I know you would have continued, just the time has gone. Yes, I trust you. Thank you. You're welcome. Well, we must end female genital mutilation. Let's say no. Let's say no more tolerance. We do not want it, and it must not stay. It's been a wonderful session on Engendered this evening, and thanks for joining us on the show, and we hope to see you again some other time, or Thursday rather, as we continue to say no to female genital mutilations. I am Victoria Agbi.
Everyone should be an advocate to end female genital mutilation. Till we come your way again, I am Confidence Ruben. Bye for now.
Bye. Thank you.